Hello, I'm NP. Horizon Zero Zombie, Walking Dead Redemption, Witcher White Hands, Grand Theft Molotov, and so on and so forth. Chris Edge is so great in giving these sort of names. He described PlayStation game Days Gone this way when he recommended this game to me a year ago. I said, "Come on buddy, you know me, I'm not really into these zombie apocalypse games." And he was going, "Okay, but you like The Witcher, you like GTA, you like Red Dead Redemption, and you in general like good stories, and this one has a pretty good story. Anyway, you used to be a biker ages ago, so stop complaining and just try it." Well, he was right. After a complete playthrough, I think Days Gone is actually amazing. I must admit that I enjoyed it quite much. It doesn't add too many new things on the table, but what it does extremely well. Although the story is not bad, still, it doesn't show anything new if you have seen a story like the lonesome cowboy chasing the freedom tries to do the right thing, sort of stuff. And I stop spoiling it more because that's not the point of this review. So if you are into GTA, Witcher, Red Dead Redemption sort of games, then you will most probably enjoy it quite much. I did it anyway. I played the PC port, and as a PS4, maybe PlayStation 5 game, it plays like butter. If I had to make a top 10 games on the PC to play with a controller, then Days Gone would be a good contender. Perhaps as a consequence of this very smooth drive. Days Gone surprised me of how well the bike behaved. It totally makes sense to me. Around 20 years ago, I made a lot of trips around the countryside, sometimes off-road, and according to my experience, a very light bike that's not designed for this very high performance. Instead, the goal is being versatile and capable off-road, where 50 PS is just enough. So riding a bike in Days Gone reminds me of that feeling quite much. So it's a great job on that. And it's also true for the whole game mechanics. As I've said, it plays like butter. So it's a great game, but on the other hand, it was very depressing. Also, it's sort of realistic of what I think would happen if the present systems that keep this world today alive collapsed. And it's terrifying. Please don't get me wrong. Everything is fine with this game, and it was fun to play. What makes me terrified is the monsters in this game. That are, surprise, not are the zombies. They are just victims of a terrible event and nothing more. They are just fighting for the same place as the survivors. They are just in the way of each other, but that's the only conflict between them and remaining humans. Sorry. So, the real monsters are your fellow human beings. All of these end of the world stories, if told too well or told too realistically, always remind me of stories, real stories that actually happened. Things like my grandparents told me about the Second World War, or a good friend of mine from Sarajevo, who was 13 years old when the Serbian army bombarded the shit out of this beautiful town around 1992. What he said is that the bombing wasn't the most terrible thing. He said one of the most terrible memories was like, at the age of 13, he had no choice but stab a man to death, because this fucker wanted to kill his mother, who just wanted to defend her 9-year-old daughter, whom this asshole wanted to rape. It was their neighbor, the guy next door. So for an apocalypse, you don't need zombies. You just need no food, no water, and no electricity for a couple of weeks. And instead of cooperation, the first step of people will be to turn into monsters, I'm afraid. And for the disruption of the global network that keeps our present life running. You know, internet, food chain, electricity, and so on. So it's not only war that can break the flow. A supermassive solar storm on the paper is capable of shutting down the electric system for quite a while. Or an eruption of a supervolcano. It can cause a toxic winter lasting for decades. And something that can do the same, and it's unfortunately not a science fiction anymore in 2024, a nuclear war. And the worst aspect of this is not the actual event that happens. It's human versus human, out of control. Survivors turning into each other, I think that would cause much bigger casualties than the actual doomsday events. And man, that terrifies the shit out of me. So the game Days Gone is actually an awesome game, but also it's a too good reminder of what would happen if the framework of society disappeared. But it also includes a very important lesson: never ever give up hope. Well, humanity, I think it's not capable of surviving a sort of end of the world. But I hope that I'm not right about it. NP out. See you somewhere in time.